On Wednesday, Harris came out in favor of the PRO Act, which would give the federal government more teeth when it attempts to enforce labor law. The PRO Act would make it easier for workers to engage in collective bargaining, and it would be the first step on the road to rolling back states passing right-to-work legislation that make it impossible for unions to collect dues. She is strong on abortion and, of course, LGBTQ issues, has expressed concern for the people of Gaza. And despite serving as the current president of the Senate, she didn't show up for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech on Wednesday before a joint session of Congress. After Netanyahu met with Joe Biden on Thursday, Netanyahu met privately with Vice President Harris, who came out of the meeting calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and then added, quote, "We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent," unquote. On climate, Politico reports Vice President Harris has repeatedly called for a ban on fracking. That could hurt her in the parts of Pennsylvania she wasn't going to win anyway. She has also endorsed the Green New Deal, and while serving in the Senate, she proposed a $10 trillion plan to fight climate change. She took the lead this year on the Biden administration's plan to forbid medical debt from being factored into anyone's credit score, like here in New York. You don't have to pay your medical bills here in New York. It doesn't affect your credit. It should be done nationwide, and then nobody should pay their medical bills, but we'll get to that in a future show. She's also come out in favor of forgiving student debt and has been a strong supporter of free tuition at public universities. In fact, in 2017, Harris, as senator, co-sponsored Bernie Sanders' bill to make college free to anyone who chooses to go. She wants to regulate artificial intelligence, unlike Joe Biden, who wants big tech to rein in AI voluntarily. Her brother-in-law is the general counsel for Uber. Now, to her credit, despite having her sister marry the general counsel for Uber, she did come out in favor of a California bill that would make it harder for Uber drivers to be classified as independent contractors. It took her a bit longer back in 2019 than it took Bernie and Elizabeth Warren to speak out in favor of this legislation, but eventually she did, and eventually that legislation didn't pass.